Yep.
Okay. Next up. We got another. What do we got next? We got the. Oh my God! What a week! The
It is a
stories
week.
are coming fast and hard.
Yes, it is quite a
Feds
week.
file suit versus Philly Drone Life. I forgot we were going to do that.
Yeah, so you might have heard on this show, if you watched the show previously, about PhillyDroneLife, where you might have heard different stories on the news. Back in 2019, PhillyDroneLife was issued a bunch of fines by the FAA, and I think it was like 182,000, somewhere in that
Yes.
number was the amount of
I believe
fines.
that's right.
And essentially, long story short, there was a lot of things about how he said on different live streams that he went back and forth with the FAA and he couldn't afford to pay this stuff. And they kind of sort of were like poking him about it, but sort of dropped it a little bit. All those kind of things back and forth. And then we didn't hear anything for a while. But he kept posting videos. He kept doing drone videos.
Right.
And it seems like the FAA was like, no, you're not going to do that. You're going to pay this money and you're going to stop doing this.
Fuck around and find out, as they say.
Yes.
Yes. I'm speechless. The magnitude of his fines stands out, and I always like to point out when we cover this story, because there are I don't want to sound like I'm sticking up for the FAA. I think the FAA has been in some cases heavy-handed, and there's problems, but like, the FAA did not just come out of the blue and give this guy $182,000 in fines. And I want to be clear about that, because you might be out there thinking, oh my God, if I fly a drone somewhere, am I going to get $182,000 in fines? It's going to ruin my life. I don't know the specific details, but they started.
He did.
Yeah.
He did things like live streaming downtown Philly, where he was flying like in places he wasn't allowed to, over people, over cars, in airport airspace without authorization, without license, as far as I understand it, without a 107, because they said he was doing commercial work because he was live streaming that for a profit. But all these kind of different things. Basically, they stacked up a bunch of fines.
The severity of but my point, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been a while since we covered this. Usually, the way the FAA works is they reach out to you and they go, "Hey, buddy, do you know these things you're doing are illegal?" Yeah, they are. And if you go, oh, shit, they are? I'm so sorry. And you take all your videos down and you kowtow, they go, all right, it's cool. We're going to just give you a little fine, or maybe not even that. We'll let you off with a warning. And it's only, my understanding is that basically they reached out to him and he basically went, F you, and ignored them and blew them off and ignored them and continued to do the things until finally they went, fine, throw the book at him. And they went through his channel and they looked at all his live streams and found every single infraction they could find, and they just threw the whole freaking book at him. But that's not the FAA's first move. So if you're thinking, oh, could this happen to me? You got to really want it for this to happen to you. Does that all sound accurate? Am I getting any of that wrong?
Yeah, I think that's correct. I think basically every case we've ever seen, except for like 3, the FAA has not just dumped a fine on somebody. They've done warnings, they've done calls. Basically what happens is somebody, like an FSDO typically, flight service officer in the area from the FAA will call you and go, hey, we got your information from YouTube or whatever. We know you're making these videos. We would like you to stop making these videos because X, Y, and Z. Or can you tell us why what you're doing is legal, et cetera, et cetera. You have a conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
Or they get an email to you and they ask for an email back, that sort of thing. And then if you ignore them, if you disagree with them, if you continue to do the actions, sort of stacks up and stacks up. And again, he was sent these originally in 2019. It is February of 2024.
It's been 5 years.
And now they're suing him.
Yeah.
And now they're suing him.
Well, not suing him. Is this
no,
lawsuit?
They're suing him.
This is a criminal.
This is a lawsuit. They are suing him because he owes this money and he's not paying it and he's not cease and desist.
Okay. So the moral of this story, and like people in the chat are saying, I've met Mikey, he's a nice guy, he doesn't deserve this. I agree. Like, I've never met him. I don't know if he's a nice guy. But I agree that $182,000 is preposterous. But here's the thing. When you get a call from the FAA, here's how you avoid this situation. Don't just blow them off and keep doing the thing that's got them looking at you and like go on a live stream and be like, hey, the FAA can't stop me, F the FAA, and I'm just going to keep flying my drones. Now, once you're in the spotlight, they will squash you like a bug 5 years from now. They can do that. They are not entirely toothless. And I feel a little bit conflicted saying that, because I also have said that for most people, the chances of getting an FAA, action against you is 0. Both of those things I think are true.
Absolutely. I agree.
Most people are not going to end up in the spotlight. People just flying in their backyard, etc., etc. You have to be really visible. Your infraction has to be really egregious, and you have to be really obnoxious before you get to this point. So, like, don't be all 3 of those things, and you'll probably be okay. Sucks. It sucks that this situation can exist at all. Like, I don't like the flight, some of the flights that he did. I don't like flying over streets. I don't like the idea that if you crash your drone, it could fall in somebody's car, maybe cause a car accident, maybe hit somebody in the head. I personally try not to do those things almost all the time. But I still think $182,000 fine is pretty, that's just life-ruining money. Like, more than 10 times over. Well, maybe not 10 times. So what now? They're suing him in federal court. I assume he's going to get a lawyer, and he's going to straighten up and fly right. No.
Yeah, I have no idea how this works. I have no idea what he's going to do.
Well, I saw a Philly news article, and I was like, why is Mikey back in the news? This is why, apparently. And he was talking about how, I'm just a poor guy, I can't pay this fine, etc. At no point did he say, I have representation. Mikey, you need a lawyer. You're being sued by the federal government for $180,000. Sir, you need a lawyer. That's my advice.